Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Smart Hacks. My name is Gary, and in this tutorial, you'll learn how to prepare scanned background images using Adobe Photoshop CC. So, we have several drawings we want to use in our animation. We've scanned them and need to mask them in Photoshop. I like to drag all the images into Photoshop at once. With scanned images, the first thing I always do is set the white point by pressing Ctrl-M on Windows, Command-M on Mac. Use the white point eyedropper to sample the paper. You may have to zoom in to get some of the gray areas in the paper texture as well. Then, click on the middle of the graph line and drag to adjust the contrast to your liking. Then, click OK. The goal is to isolate the drawings from the white background. And I'm going to show you two different ways to accomplish the same thing. The method you choose will depend on your particular drawing. If your object is not very detailed, start by using the magic wand. On the tool palette, you can long-click on the tool just below the lasso, or cycle to the correct one by pressing Shift-W for wand until you activate the one that looks like a magic wand. Now, just click on a white area near the outer edge of your object. There are a couple of things to look at when using the magic wand. I leave anti-alias and contiguous options checked. A low tolerance of 5 means the wand will only select colors that are within 5 adjacent matching color steps. You can see that there are quite a few islands of marching ants that didn't get selected. Let's increase the tolerance to something like 25 and shift-click in the same area to add to our existing selection. Finally, let's eliminate the tiny islands by going to the Select menu and choosing Modify, Expand. Enter 2 pixels and click OK. Photoshop expands the selection area by 2 pixels around the islands, effectively merging everything into one big selection. Now, let's Control-Shift-I, Command-Shift-I on Mac to invert the selection and click the Add Layer Mask icon. If your object is quite detailed, or the background is too similar to the foreground image, I recommend using Quick Mask to paint over the areas you want to keep. Press Q for Quick Mask, B for Brush, press Ctrl-1 on Windows, Command-1 on Mac to zoom to 100%, and use the left and right bracket keys to get a big enough brush. Let's also make sure its hardness is at least 90%. Press D for Default to reset the brush color to black, and click once in the top leftmost edge of the image you want to mask. Using the edge of your brush as a guide, move the brush to a new location that is a straight line along the edge of the object. Hold down the Shift key and click a second time to connect the first place you clicked to the second. Now release the Shift key and press the space bar to change to the hand tool so you can move the viewpoint over and continue masking. Basically, we're going to paint a dot-to-dot outline around the entire object by shift-clicking repeatedly. In areas where there are smooth curves, don't move the mouse so far away as you shift-click to paint the outline in. Once the entire object is outlined, switch to the magic wand by pressing W key and click anywhere in the center of your outlined area. Let's expand that selection to include some of the edges inside the outline that got missed, and choose Select, Modify, Expand. Enter 2 pixels and press Enter. With black as your foreground color, hold down Alt on Windows, Option on Mac, and press the Delete key. This will fill the selection with red and should complete the selection. Press Ctrl-D on Windows, Command-D on Mac to deselect everything. Press Q to exit Quick Mask, and then invert the selection by pressing Ctrl-Shift-I, Command-Shift-I on Mac. Last, click the Add Layer Mask icon. Now, you've seen 2 different ways to mask objects in Photoshop. You may need to do additional cleanup on the mask itself in order to restore details. Hold down Alt on Windows, Option on Mac, and click the black and white mask preview on the Layers palette. Press B for Brush and paint black to hide areas, or paint white to reveal areas. You can also paint on the layer mask while viewing the image layer itself by clicking the Layer preview, then single-click that layer's mask to activate it. Now any edits you make will only be to the mask. Generally speaking, you never want to touch the pixels on the layer itself. Rather, use layer masks or non-destructive adjustment layers to affect the pixel data. That's it for today's episode. Next time, we'll learn how to animate these layers in Premiere. See you next time on Smart Hacks.